Hello and welcome to YemmyCast, a video game podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. How you doing, everyone? It's me, YemmytheFerret, aka Yemmy, and I am your host here on this lovely, lovely day. It is currently 4 o'clock on Tuesday the 12th. Thank you so much for joining me for the Wednesday. That's right, this premieres on Wednesday on YouTube at 4 p.m. and it's available on all other platforms the same day. So thank you so much for coming around and having a good time with me. Thank you so much. Please clap. Please. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. As you know, or maybe you don't know, I was down and out last week. The flu hit me like a truck. A truck that just the guy was eating a cheeseburger. He wasn't paying attention to the road. I was crossing it, and what do you know? Bing bang boom! I got hit by that damn truck, and oh boy,
now that's a lot of damage.
It sucked. So yeah, so back on my feet now. At like 99%, I would say 99%. I'm back. Still have a little bit of a cough, a little bit of stuffy nose here and there, so it may or may not affect this episode. But thanks anyways for coming around, and thanks for all the happy well wishes, whether it's through Discord or Twitter or YouTube or wherever. It's fantastic to see so many well wishes. I appreciate it all. But hey, it's time to talk about some video games, I suppose, or maybe not. We'll see. But thanks for coming around. The podcast has been going pretty good. I would say. Definitely my favorite thing to create each week. That's why I do 2 of them now. So if you want to, you can check out the Weekend podcast, which is just a collection of short news from the weekend. And those usually launch on Saturdays around 10 o'clock. No premiere or anything like that. They just kind of pop up when they please. I don't have any jurisdiction over them. They have a mind of their own. They go out there. They want to be listened to, so make sure you give them a listen. I wanted to quickly talk about a movie that I watched over the weekend while I was still a little bit sick, and that is Solo, a Star Wars movie. Solo, a Star Wars movie. I finally got around to watching it on Netflix, and I gotta say, dang, it was a little bland, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't really that interesting until they get to the Kessel Run part, and then after that, goes back to being kind of passable. It's passable. I wouldn't say that this movie is brilliant or amazing or worth it, in my opinion. It seems like it was kind of slapped together, and it definitely didn't really need to come out. I mean, there's some lines in here that I'll be quoting for the rest of my life because they were so bad. Other than that, I just don't feel like the movie was really worth it. You know, who really needed that background story on Han Solo? He's just a suave dude in a galaxy far, far away. But they decided to do a backstory on him. I guess all the acting was fine. I wouldn't like say it was amazing. The guy who played Han Solo was fine. Chewbacca was fine. There's a good amount of characters in this movie. You pretty much know they're all going to die, just like in Rogue One. Because they're never mentioned again, whether it be in the comic books or anything like that. Usually what happens once a character gets put into like a movie, like Rogue One or something like that, they start appearing in other genres or mediums. Like there's the robot dude from Rogue One, who has like the spikes on his head. He appeared in the Star Wars run, which is, he appears in like this part where they go to the blown up, was it Jeddah that was blown up in Rogue One? They go to like that it's like blown up, and they go there seeking like Jedi stuff, and they meet that robot dude once again. But other than that, you know, there's no characters in this one that I've seen in other Star Wars books, so I knew for a fact that they were all pretty much dying. The girl lived, but I haven't seen her in anything. I don't know if she's in Rogue One, not Rogue One, the Rogue TV show. Well, what is that called? I don't even know what it's called. I never watched it. I know that has I think it has Darth Maul in it or his brother in it. Because there was a cameo from Darth Maul's brother. I think it was Darth Maul's brother because Darth Maul got cut in half and he's half of a robot. That guy didn't look like a robot to me. I'm sure there's information out there all about this, and I just sound like a bumbling idiot. But it's one of those movies that like you watch and you go, okay, so what's the reason behind this being made? Right, other than the fact that they made a good amount of money off of it, what's the real reason that this was made? And I couldn't really think of one because we didn't need to know any of this story about, the Millennium Falcon making the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, and how did the Millennium Falcon get a giant indentation in it? Like it was an escape pod. They used the escape pod to escape something. Where did Han Solo get his last name? That was the dumbest thing to me. Like, oh, since you're alone, Han Solo. It's like, wow, that's really stupid. Why was his name just... His name should have just been Han Solo. Who the fuck cares? One thing that I hate about movies nowadays, and especially these Star Wars ones, they tend to introduce characters and then have them die right away in some tragic way, and then they're brought back up as in like, oh, my best friend taught me how to do this maneuver right before he died. It's like, was he really your best friend? Like, we literally saw 2 scenes of you two interacting, and then he got shot in the back. The black woman in this movie, she gets this real tragic, heartbreaking death scene that doesn't mean anything to me, doesn't mean anything to you, because we only saw like 3 lines of dialogue from her. She shows up on that planet with everyone else, and they're pretending to be stormtroopers, and then it switches to the rail car stuff happening, and then, she has to blow up the bridge, and she blows up herself. Annoying stuff like that happens. The main villain of this one, who is kind of cool looking, has like literally 3 scenes. There's just so there's that robot character who's Lando's sidekick. Didn't even need to be in the movie, to be honest with you, because all she did was she appeared halfway through the Lando scene. She was talking about how robots are, shackled and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, I wonder what she's gonna do. Oh, what do you know? She causes a robot rebellion on the planet, and she gets blown into bits while they're trying to leave. It's like, wow, this character was so well written. I love this character. I'm gonna buy the action figure. No, I'm not. I don't even care about this character. It's like those characters you see on the shelves in action figure form. There's millions of them. Slipknot from Suicide Squad movie? Oh yeah, he's my favorite character. The guy who can climb anything and then gets his head blown up in his 3rd scene. Wow, I want that action figure. I bet people brought that just for the meme. I don't even know what to think of Solo anymore. I was really thinking that they were gonna like show the backstory of why he has a scar on his chin. I was expecting something to happen with that. But hey, they surprised me there. They didn't. Just dumb things happen in this movie and it just goes to show that it really didn't need to be made. I know I'm ranting and rambling because it's one of those movies that it gets under my skin a little bit, It really does get under my skin a little bit. It seems harmless on the surface, but when you think about it, you go, this kind of messes up some things. There were some scenes I liked. I'm not going to shit on it the entire time. Like, there were some things I liked about it, like pretty much the part from the Kessel Run to the end. Like, that whole quadrant of the movie was good. I enjoyed the visual of the Imperial Star Destroyer in the maw. I felt like they could have done something a little bit more with that. I like the designs of like these TIE fighters that were like different. They weren't like completely built or something like that, or they were still prototypes. I thought those looked really cool. I think Rogue One had kind of that kind of vibe too. But I didn't really like anything else about the movie. I mean, they explained where the dice came from in the cockpit. It was on a random speeder, and he was like, "Oh, this is good luck," and he grabs the dice and he gives it to the girl, and the girl gives it back to him. And then in the end, he gets them back again. I don't remember who he gives them to. and he puts him on the mirror, not on the mirror, but in the Millennium Falcon, and that's where the dice come from. That's in the rest of the movies. I just there's things that didn't need to be explained that they were like, oh, let's explain it. There were Easter eggs in this movie that didn't need to be there. It's kind of like Rogue One, how they had the two guys from the Tatooine, the cantina on Tatooine in A New Hope. They were in that movie. They were on that fucking planet somehow. And it's like, well, this kind of wrecks the timeline a little bit because, I mean, literally Rogue One happens, I don't know, days before A New Hope. Like, it's ridiculous to me. So I think really what they're doing right now is they're George Lucasing the Star Wars experience with these little mini movies, because now they're adding things to the timeline that, one, we didn't need to know about. Like, Rogue One really didn't need to be made. Even though I enjoyed Rogue One, on my second viewing, I found it very entertaining. I can still point at it and say, yes, this really didn't need to be made. It also convoluted the timeline a little bit. Instead of it being Bothan spies, it was a group of rebels that got the information, the plans. Same thing with Solo. Instead of his name being Han Solo, because it is Han Solo, because that's his family name or whatever, it was given to him by an Imperial officer. There's things like, there's reasons they don't explain the background of every single character in movies. Whether it's a Star Wars movie, a Marvel movie, a DC movie, whatever. They hardly ever touch on every single aspect of a character like they did with Solo or Rogue One. We didn't need to go back in time and see all this stuff about Han Solo. Like, we can just gather everything, okay? Lando, same thing. We don't really need to know X, Y, and Z about Lando. We didn't need to know he was a cheater at cards. We could have guessed that Han Solo beat him in a game of sabacc. I mean, they even say it multiple times throughout the goddamn Empire Strikes Back. What's the point of this movie? I think that's what Disney needs to start thinking is, what's the point of this movie besides from making money? There's no point. And this movie is why they canceled a lot of the other smaller movies, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie or something like that. Because they saw, people are kind of pissed off about this one, maybe we shouldn't do them anymore. Maybe we're kind of running our Star Wars into the ground. I don't know. I still enjoy the movies. I still enjoyed The Last Jedi for what it was. If you take out the cringy jokes, it's a dark movie, and I felt like it fit the mold of this new Star Wars universe. Like the first movie's kind of more hopeful and gleeful, and things happen that are kind of like A New Hope. And then you get to The Last Jedi, and it's more dark, and it seems to be the death of the Rebel Alliance pretty much at the end. And you go, okay, I get this. But then they kind of they had to spruce it up with jokes and puns and stuff like that. People were unimpressed by how they handled the storyline, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's what happens when you have multiple writers and multiple directors directing a trilogy. The reason that the original Star Wars trilogy works so well is because George Lucas wrote and directed the whole thing, the whole trilogy. Yeah, he mucked up the prequels, I can't deny that. But that original trilogy was fine because he was working on it the entire, he was the director and part writer for all three of those movies, and they all turned out fine. And then you get to these movies, these new ones, and you go, okay, so Force Awakens had an idea, left some things unanswered. That was that director's writing style. You get to Last Jedi, it's a new director, it's a new writing team, and they don't know where to go with these different stories, so they just kind of end them, or they forget about them. So I don't know what kind of mess the third movie is going to be, or technically it's like the 9th. But we'll see. I'm done talking about Star Wars. Let's move on to, everyone's happy. I'm done shitting on a family-friendly, not family-friendly, but a household.
Boo! You stink!
Alright, let's talk about limited run games. They are an indie developer who has had several E3 appearances now, and they do pretty goofy things on stage. I think, wasn't it last year, the lady had she was ripping off limbs or something like that? I don't even remember. But they are confirming they're coming to E3 2019, so get hyped. Whoop, whoop. So they're gonna be doing another one of these shows where it's a lot of pre-recorded stuff on the screen, and then they'll have someone physically there who will do a number of crazy things like they've done in the past. And they're gonna announce titles on all platforms, including Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PC, everywhere you want to go. So keep an eye out for this one. Limited Run usually does a pretty entertaining E3 conference. They've been, even though they're smaller, they've been one of the better E3. What would you say? Presenters? Yeah, presenters. I got it in my head, and I was being dumb about it. Other things that they have announced for, Ukulele, Celeste, and Shanty, and the Pirate's Curse have all three been things that they've kind of announced especially for the Switch, at their E3 press conferences. Woo, boy! So yeah, Limited Run coming to E3, confirmed. So someone spotted this not too long ago, and it's on the Nintendo eShop, where you redeem your coins, your platinum coins, and you can get a wallpaper for Kirby's Epic Yarn, which was released recently on the 3DS as a re-release. And someone noticed that the Fortnite logo is in the top left corner of the wallpaper for computer. And people are speculating that, Kirby Battle Royale coming soon. I doubt it. I think this was just a mistake or just a stupid joke that someone at the company was pulling. Obviously, it's just an accident, and I'm not sure if it's still up on the website. No. Okay, so they did take it down from the website. They fixed the wallpaper. That is kind of funny though. So yeah, it was just a small Fortnite logo in the left corner, and I guess someone either was like working with a template and they used the Fortnite logo somewhere and they put it there and they forgot about it. Who knows? I think it's more funny to think that there's going to be Kirby Battle Royale and Kirby's Epic Yarn. Speaking of Battle Royale in Fortnite, there's a new single-player vehicle in Fortnite called the Baller. Essentially, it's a human hamster ball. The description just says, round and around we go, roll through the competition with the newest vehicle, the Baller. Doesn't really rhyme. I'm kind of disappointed. But, yep, Fortnite developer Epic Games has put out a new single-player vehicle. It's literally just a ball with a grappling hook on it, just to get around, I guess, to get around a lot easier on the map. Who knows? They added planes with the last update, which, stupid idea. This is even stupider. This is worse somehow. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Like, let's move on. I'm tired of this shit. Like, who the hell thinks of this stupid idea? I'm done talking about it. We're not gonna shit on Fortnite. Okay, so it's been kind of revealed, but not really, that Banjo and Kazooie from Banjo and Kazooie were most likely named after the Nintendo president of the time, his grandchild and possibly son. So the Nintendo president at the time was named Hiroshi Yakumchi, and the Rare 1998 Rare. They released the Nintendo 64 game called Banjo-Kazooie, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Actually, it is the favorite game of all time. I love the game with a passion. It is definitely worth my time to play through multiple times a year. But anyways, they're thinking that, or people are speculating, because Andy Robinson of Platonic Gaming has come out and said that Banjo-Kazooie are allegedly named after Banjo, Hiroshi's grandchild, and possibly his son Katsuhito. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Kazooie, kind of similar. But it's already kind of been speculated that the Banjo part is true, but they're not so sure about the Kazooie part, because the Kazooie part might be a bit of a stretch. But it's interesting to kind of learn a little bit more about things. Maybe, I don't think it will ever be confirmed or anything like that, but we'll have to wait and see in the future on this one. I think this is interesting if it is true. This could be a cool Easter egg that they've built into this game. Built around this game. The goddamn characters are named after it. I'm a huge fan of Banjo-Kazooie. I know there's a lot of fans of Banjo-Kazooie out there. People definitely want them in Smash Brothers. I just love the Banjo-Kazooie games, especially the 64 one, which is my favorite of all time. I'm not afraid to admit that. I can definitely see Xbox, now that they're pairing with Nintendo and they're kind of in bed with Nintendo, I can kind of see them pushing for them to be in Smash Brothers, just to kind of do a little bit of fan service. I mean, Banjo made an appearance in Diddy Kong Racing, and he never got into a Smash Brothers game, not even in the 64 era. So we'll see what happens with this. Well, not with this, but with that. With this, I mean, we can kind of close the book on this one. This one's kind of done. All right, who here wants to talk about Anthem? Okay, well, we're going to do it anyways. All right, so Anthem players are boycotting the game as BioWare, once again, has fixed increased loot drops. They've limited the amount of loot drops even more in the game. So for a little while, apparently when people are finishing like big quests, there were lots of co-op fortresses to take down. People were getting extra rare loot. And they would get like one or two super rare loot instead of like once every so often. And people were actually starting to enjoy the game again. And it's even quoted as someone saying Anthem's loot system was fun again, and now it's not again. There's a lot of grinding that goes into this game because it is an RPG style game, and it is it does have a lot of those co-op elements from like a Destiny or something like that, where you get random loot drops after the end of a mission or during a mission itself, actually sometimes. But people are starting to boycott the game because BioWare responded so rapidly to people saying that they're getting more loot, and they patched it so fast that people are very angry that they don't just leave it. Like, people are actually having fun with your game after it's been bricking consoles, and just people have been complaining about how boring it is, myself included. They finally found something that is worthwhile, but now they're back on that horrible... They're saying it's a horrible grind. It's a horrible grind! Chad Robinson, who is the head of live services at BioWare, said that we appreciate all the feedback from the community on the game. We love the passion and share it. We're not yet fully happy with the game's loot behavior either. You know, it's just one of those things. It's like something is actually working. They probably accidentally increased the drop somewhere along the line, and they said, "Oh shit, we weren't supposed to do that." People were getting excited, and they were like, "We're gonna have to fix this. We can't do this." So yeah, they're rapidly still trying to fix Anthem. It's dropped in sales. It's already down to third place on the UK sales charts. It was on first place for a while there, and now they're changing the game probably for the worse now. I think that decreased loot drops is definitely going to make people not want to grind out the game. Like, at least in Destiny, you knew you were going to get something super rare from the end of those long mission segments where you go against a big boss at the end. People are calling them out. People are saying that they're not going to play the game anymore. They're going to sell the game. They're telling people not to buy the game. I'm guessing, as I said in the last episode, if you missed it, EA is notorious for closing down its studios after they do not so hot with a game, and BioWare is closing in on that. This is the second flop in a row for them. Andromeda was the first, and now Anthem is a flop. Mass Effect 3 sold well, played well, was received pretty well except for the ending, but Andromeda came around, people hated it. It was buggy, it was unoriginal, it was a mess, and people were very excited for Anthem, myself included, because it's their own IP, it's a new IP, it's not Mass Effect, and they seem to have dropped the ball once again. So hopefully they don't get shut down, but it looks like we're heading that way, because now players have found out if you remove all your gear, for some reason, your damage output is increased. So this is, I mean, you literally take off your equipment and all your equipment, remove it, and your character's average power level will actually increase. And this will potentially allow players to increase damage to their melee, combo, and ultimate attacks. Most notably, you can automatically remove support items by making a new loadout, meaning the game won't take lower level support equipment into account when it calculates your overall power. Obviously, someone missed this during playtesting, so yeah. I don't know what to say about this game anymore. Like, it's so ridiculous, all these news stories coming out. I haven't played the game for 2 weeks now because I'm just tired of every single day a new news article comes out saying this is broken, this is happening. I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm just not going to play this game anymore. I wanted to finish it. I wanted to see what the game was all about, but I'm tired of it. I'm disappointed in BioWare as a whole. I'm disappointed that in Anthem as a whole. I felt like this game should have been much more than what it was, but I mean, EA rushed this game as much as they rushed Andromeda. They probably rushed Mass Effect 3, which is why it wasn't as good quality. This is why you take a huge risk when joining a big publisher like EA. They push you. They want results, and unfortunately, this game's a joke, and BioWare is the butt end of it. All right, Spyro Reignited Trilogy is finally putting out patch 1.03, which adds subtitles and the ability to take out motion blur. Oh my god. I am so happy with this. Even though I've completed all 3 games, I'm probably not going to go back to the game. I can tell you that the motion blur was one of those things that I just hated about this game. The motion blur was atrocious. But now they've introduced patch 1.03, and you can take out motion blur just with a push of a button. Seriously, every game that has motion blur should allow this option, because motion blur makes games look like shit. I'm going to be honest with you here. Uncharted 4, you take out the motion blur, the game looks 1,000 times better. Spyro, obviously, if you're going to take out that motion blur, things look a lot better. It just hurts my eyes, too. Like, this game hurt my eyes to move around and, see that blur happen every time you move the camera was just atrocious. This is long overdue, especially for subtitles. This game should have come out with subtitles. There's a lot of gamers who are hearing impaired. They use subtitles religiously. I don't get it. I usually use subtitles no matter what. No matter what it is. Metro, Division, any game you can think of that's new or has been put out recently. I've been using subtitles since the Mass Effect series because I don't want to miss anything, It matters a little bit less with this one because there's not much dialogue in it, but I feel like this is one thing that should have probably happened from the get-go, including, of course, turning off motion blur. The patch is only 467 megabytes, so it won't take long to update. The game is up there in storage though. It's about 60 gigabytes for the 3 games. Which is one of the reasons why I had to take it off my console after I platinumed all 3 games. I was like, I need the room. There's a lot of games out there that are coming that are requiring probably about 100 gigabytes of space each. I cannot waste room with games I've already played. All right, Borderlands 3 has been teased at Gearbox's PAX East panel. The company tweeted out today, the 12th of March, that March 28th in Boston, Massachusetts, there's going to be possibly some Borderlands exciting announcements, never before seen reveals and exclusives and surprises. Hopefully this means that Borderlands 3 is going to be announced and or shown. I would also be okay with a Borderlands Game of the Year edition for PS4. I think that would be kind of cool in itself, but I really want Borderlands 3. I have a Borderlands tattoo. I've played through all 3 games so many times. I can't even tell you how many. Not as many as Mass Effect, but I love the game series so much. They're fun, they're quirky, they're imaginative. This world of Pandora is just amazing. The enemies are awesome. The villains of the games are usually just top notch. And when you think of Borderlands, you know Borderlands 2 being the best out of all three of the games that are out right now, you really want more when this game ends. The DLC helps, but we really need that Borderlands 3 to come out. And the cool thing about this picture that Gearbox tweeted is, yes, it says March 28th on it, Boston, Massachusetts. It's obviously on Pandora. It's in a desert. It's cel-shaded. There's a sign that says Exit 3 above the sign there, which can only lead to everyone speculating that Borderlands 3 is going to be talked about at PAX. So we'll see, but I have high hopes, and I am excited. If it is going to be Borderlands 3, that's going to be amazing. If it's not Borderlands or Borderlands related, they've definitely duped us. They've done the old dupe-a-rooney, I would say. That would be a fucking horrible thing if they decided that, we just wanted to make it look cool for the announcement. All right, so there's going to be a Dragon's Dogma animated Netflix show coming out. It's going to be there's the Japanese animation studio Sublimation is going to produce the animated series based on Dragon's Dogma. This is weird because Dragon's Dogma is obviously an obscure title, an obscure series. Like I said in the last episode, I don't know anything about Dragon's Dogma, and Dragon's Dogma, I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know if it's my style of games, but we'll see where this goes. There's a lot of fans of anime out there, and there's a good amount of fans of this action RPG. So we'll see where this goes. Netflix kind of likes to take risks here and there, and I think this is kind of a risk for them. Maybe they're just looking to get more people into the series. Who knows? But that's kind of cool for people who are fans of Dragon's Dogma. Maybe this won't be, or maybe this will be. Maybe this will be worth it in the end. All right, so we have two things for Apex Legends. The Battle Pass has been rumored to be $10. So that means it's going to be about 950 Apex coins. And so 1,000 Apex coins goes for about $10, about £8, which is, I mean, I don't like the currency in this game. It seems to be overpriced. But if the Battle Pass is only $10, I mean, who would pass up that? That's pretty much a deal on all ends. But it seemed to have leaked on Origin's homepage. It had a typo in the header as well. So who knows the authenticity of this? But someone saw this and took a screenshot, posted it online. It apparently, and what it says, "Welcome to the frontier. Survive the arena. Meet the Apex Games' latest legend, Octane. Weird new weapons and score unique loot. The Season 1 Battle Pass is here. Purchase it in-game for 950 Apex coins." So we'll see if this is true or not, because the developer has said that the Battle Pass is going to come very soon, just it's not launching this week. So it's currently Tuesday, which is normally the day that games come out, which has been changed. Most games come out Fridays, but Tuesdays seem to be when most changes come to games. And the director has said, no, it's not going to happen this week, but it may happen, later this month. They did say that in March it was going to be, coming out. So I'm guessing it's going to be next week that they're going to be putting out the Battle Pass information. There's been a lot of leaks and stuff about new characters and stuff like that coming to the game. The director has come out and said that we know it's fun to dig this stuff up, but you should treat any of this info with a grain of salt, because some things are old that people are finding, some things are outdated, some things have misinformation that they've changed along the process of developing the game. So don't believe everything you hear. But I'm inclined to believe that the pass will be about $10. I feel like that's, pretty cheap for for a game like this. It's just a battle royale game. That's all it is. So who really needs to, spend $1 million on a battle pass? And finally for today, we have the UK sales charts for last week. Devil May Cry 5 has topped the sales charts, beating out Red Dead 2, Anthem, and Metro Exodus. Wow. So the chart is as follows. Devil May Cry 5 is at the top with Red Dead second. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has actually popped back on the list at number 3. Anthem is still hanging in there at number 4. FIFA 19, Far Cry New Dawn, Lego Movie 2, the video game, Super Smash Bros, Metro, and then Grand Theft Auto 5 is still in there as well. I can definitely see Anthem dropping off this list once more games come out. Like this week is The Division 2, which I'm excited for. Days Gone is coming around soon. There's a good amount of games coming out soon that I think will knock Anthem off the charts, especially if more and more things start coming out with it. I know I talk about Anthem so much. I must love the game. But yeah, so the sales charts are pretty good for Devil May Cry 5. This is a good return to the series, I suppose. I haven't played Devil May Cry at all. Just the DMC from, 2015 or whatever, the one that people thought was complete shit. So let me know if this is a good place to start. I've never played a Devil May Cry except for the last one, the reboot kind of one. So let me know. Obviously, people have said that that one is terrible. So I'm hearing good things about this one. I haven't watched any gameplay or anything like that. So, whatever. But hey, thanks everyone for stopping by and listening to me ramble and rant. Still a little bit sick, so my thoughts are not exactly in order still. But by next episode, I should be back to 100%. I said I'm about 98, 99% healed up from the terrible flu I had. But we're still trucking on a one-way street, trucking. Yeah, so thanks everyone for stopping by. Remember, you can listen to the podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. It's on all platforms the same day. I don't care where you listen to it. I just thank you for listening. You can also still buy stickers if you want to on redbubble.com. The link to that is in every single YouTube video that I post. Also, you can join my Discord and talk with me and have fun with me. And don't forget that if you come to the premieres, we can talk about the news articles as I present them. And I will be in the chat for that as well. So, all things in mind, all things in motion. Anyone else have any objections? Shall we recess for the rest of the day? Shall we go about our day? Yes, I believe we should. Okay. Well, anyways, once again, I am your host, YemmytheFerret, and this has been YemmyCast, a video game podcast.